I've been accused of being ignorant, kind of because I posted a video about anti-pride. You have it here. On the same day when this unfortunate event happened, a Spanish man being killed, possibly because he was homosexual. Since then, the Spanish started a lot of anti-homophobia protests, and everybody is offended because a homosexual man was killed. And also this guy who accused me perhaps thinks that I celebrate the death of this man. Well, I don't. It's extremely sad and tragic that people are being murdered. Period. It's not that a gay was killed or a young man or an elderly woman. That's completely irrelevant. I don't care about his sexuality. I am sorry for this man. I'm so grieved when people really think it's about hatred, especially when we are the ones who have been there and know exactly how it feels like. I'm grieved that people really think we don't want their good, especially when we're the ones that found something better and want to share that with those of them who really want that. I'm gonna let you know why this article is poor and inconsistent. First of all, we don't know for sure if he was killed because of his gay identity. And it doesn't matter, we don't know exactly what triggered the conflict between him and those attackers. Some say they thought he took pictures of them while he was FaceTiming with somebody. Others say that his female friend was actually doing that and he just wanted to defend her when those attackers had started to harass her. But it doesn't matter. What if he'd been killed because of his religion maybe, or his video preferences, or his job? I don't know. Why does it matter? I'm sure if he'd been killed because of any other reasons, nobody would have started this protests and this huge offense. 100%. And I'm not against standing up for justice. I'm against manipulation and brainwashing. People use this situation to again shout on the streets about their selfish interests and desires, about the fact that they want to have sex with who they want. And I don't care, have sex with who you want in your private room, but why should you trumpet about it? I like that in 2 Timothy 3 it says, "But understand this, in the last days, terrible times will come. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, without love of good, traitors, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power." This is amazing. I mean, the Bible's foreseen everything. If we come with boldness, they say we're being hateful. If we come with love, they expect us to agree with and accept everything that they say or do, because that's what they think love is, approving everything they do and say and letting them go more and more downhill. Praise God he doesn't do that, because if he'd done that, leaving us in our wisdom, we would have gone crazy a long time ago. But the proof of real unselfish love is telling you when you're wrong. Going back to the article, Euronews says Spanish police have arrested a fourth person in connection with the death of a 24-year-old gay man. Again, why does it matter? There's tons of other cases of people being murdered, injured, abused, but nowhere it's being specified that they were straight people. That's super manipulative. Don't you realize that they actually place his sexual orientation above his life? It's like his sexuality actually matters more than his personality, which is absurd. It happened outside a nightclub. Interesting. A lot of arguments can happen in those kind of places because it's those kind of places, so there's nothing to add here. At the bottom of the article page, The Guardian shares some statistics about LGBTI situation in Spain, like about how many of them are being harassed, hated, and blah blah blah. Except the fact that everyone is being silent about how sensible they are. I mean, what's the notion of being harassed? Everyone knows that in this kind of countries, it's enough to look a bit strange at a gay and they will already feel offended. That's ridiculous. I don't encourage bullying. I've never done. I had been bullied all my teenage life and I've had enough. But this is not harassment. I mean, certainly not all of those inflated percentages. LGBT people are so easily offended because they take everything personally. They so crave for attention, validation, affirmation that they think everything is about them or what they do or what they say. But it's not. I mean, the world has many more other, more important issues. But I understand their frustration. They long for those things that haven't been met in their teenage or childhood life. They long for those healthy relationships that they've never had, and they act according to those wants caused by mental, physical, and sexual abuses. And that's sad, but they don't want help. They don't want to deal with those issues. Instead, what they do is to go on the streets and to scream out loud about their sexual identity, because that's all that they have or are, unfortunately. Also, the article says that LGBT people feel constrained to avoid specific places because they're gay. Wow, but a lot of us might avoid specific places because they might be populated by dangerous people. There's lots of such places across the world that you have to be a fool to go there, knowing that they're full of thieves, drug dealers, sexual abusers. Should all of us start to complain now that we cannot visit those places? I mean, and in this specific situation, I'm sure it's not about some casual places, but some nightclubs or places to find a sex partner. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Also, why is nobody writing news about the persecuted Christians across the world? Why is nobody starting protests about that? Why is nobody speaking out about Muslims harassing LGBT people? Or is that dangerous that they might kill you? Or suddenly you want to say that only atheists and Christians do that? What about ex-LGBT people? Why is nobody starting protests and writing news about us being bullied or even silenced? That's because we can handle the situation and we know who we are. We don't have to desperately search for people's approval and affirmation. We don't cry out on the streets that we want to be affirmed as a minority, even though we are a minority within a minority. Why can't we exist? Why don't we deserve a capital letter in LGBT? Aren't we humans just like everybody else who deserve rights? I'm grieved that people literally think that it's just accepting others. Because it's not like I'm not accepting them. If they come to talk to me, to spend time with me, I'm there, I'm available. I can love them, I can hug them, I can be friends with them. So tell me, who is not accepting these people? What is actually on their agenda on LGBT lobby? What is there? Because it's not anymore about acceptance. It's not anymore about tolerance. The only reason I'm making these kinds of videos is that I want people to open their eyes to the truth. That it's not about acceptance anymore, because everybody accepts them. And it's good that people accept them. I don't want them to be bullied or to be, I don't know, disqualified for something. But I just want you to know how much God loves them and how hard His heart cries for them. And another thing that grieves me much more is that churches are sleeping. They're silent. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's talking about that. Of course, LGBT people are going to search for fulfillment in the world if they're not finding it in church, in God's presence, there in that place where they're supposed to hear about God's love for them and about God's power of restoration and healing for them. I ask all my friends and those who support what I'm saying to share this video and, I don't know, to write about it, to write about this matter, not about the video, to write about it and to speak up about it. I'm so sad that Samuel was murdered. And again, I don't care that he was gay, he could have been straight. It's no different. If you watch till here, don't let this video just flop your feed. Just show it to somebody. There's a lot of people who need to hear this message and there's so few people who speak about it. Be blessed.